The laughable thing was how obvious it was that the market, I love the way the market goes, well, now we've got the Bitcoin one, where's the ETH one? ETH starts wildly outperforming. It's like, again, hilarious. The market doesn't give it 1 second before moving on to the next thing with the typical crypto ADHD way of doing things, which is, this story's over now. Let's move on to the next one. Maybe there's a bit of delay, a little bit of delay, not rejection, but delay, blah, blah, blah. So let's say by August, which is the second date or something, let's assume by August, we've probably got a decent chance. I would say 75% chance.
Today's video is a clip from my interview with macroeconomic master Raoul Pal. I've posted the full interview on my second channel, The Crypto Nutshell, the first link in the description. If you want to see the full interview, it's packed with price predictions and Raoul reveals what crypto asset he thinks will perform best in 2024. Hit that first link in the description and subscribe to The Crypto Nutshell. Also, if you like what Raoul has to say, go and check out Real Vision. It's the second link in the description. He's currently giving away free Solana NFTs. Real Vision will undoubtedly change your financial future. But without further ado, let's jump in with Raoul. On the ETFs, immediately on approval, we saw Bitcoin chop around, we saw Ethereum shoot straight up, exactly like you predicted, and all eyes have now shifted onto May for the deadline of the Ethereum ETF. Now, personally, I think it's close to a 100% chance it will be approved, and I have 3 reasons, and I want to bounce them off you. So the 3 reasons is we've seen Ethereum futures ETF approved by the SEC. We also have a BlackRock ETF application and their track record is ridiculous. It's something like 570 approvals to 3 denials or 1 denial or something insane. They're the Floyd Mayweather of getting approvals. And then finally, in the SEC lawsuit against Kraken, they named a whole bunch of different cryptos that they considered securities, but interestingly, they left out Ethereum. So I don't think they ever want to come out and say it, but it seems like they're treating it more as a commodity, or they're not calling it a security anymore. I saw Eric Balkanaus, a Bloomberg analyst, and I've also seen Cathie Wood. They're giving it around a 50-50 chance. I wanted to ask you, what do you think the odds are for the Ethereum ETF, or in the grand scheme of things, does it not even matter?
Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, none of this matters really, but let's play that game. Hunter as well gave it a 50-50. And he's been deeply involved in all of this. And he said the difference with the Bitcoin ETF is there was that court ruling from GBTC and they couldn't not do it. So he said, so you can't infer that. And there's always complications behind it. So he'd say 50-50. And so most people are saying 50-50. My personal view is actually Gensler wants ETH and BTC into the financial system. If they're the 2 largest assets, you want control of them by the incumbent firms. Because if not, it's a threat to have this independent financial system. It's a threat to their whole system. So even though he hates this stuff, he'd rather be frenemies than enemies. So that's my hunch here, is that regardless of what he wants, he has to accept it.
Think 50-50 is accurate, or do you want to put a percentage on it?
Maybe there's a bit of delay, a little bit of delay, not rejection, but delay, blah, blah, blah. So let's say by August, which is the second date or something, let's assume by August, we've probably got a decent chance. I would say 75% chance. The laughable thing was how obvious it was that the market, I love the way the market goes, well, now we've got the Bitcoin one, where's the ETH one? ETH starts wildly outperforming. It's like, again, hilarious. The market doesn't give it 1 second before moving on to the next thing with the typical crypto ADHD way of doing things, which is, this story's over now. Let's move on to the next one.
100%. And to give credit where credit is due, I saw you calling this months ago. You were the first person to say, as soon as the Bitcoin ETF is approved, the narrative will immediately switch. And then on approval, we see a bit of Bitcoin choppiness and we see Ethereum up 10%. So you absolutely nailed that call. So were you surprised by the price action, that Bitcoin choppy and Ethereum booming, or that's exactly what you expected?
That's exactly what I expected. Only because I lived through the late 90s in the IPO world, when IPOs really worked. For a long time recently, IPOs like the Coinbase one marked the top, stuff like that. But back then, when you've got a market that people were really engaged with, what would happen is there was the people who were the early stage investors. So we've had that in Bitcoin, and this is like their IPO. But all of these ETF companies have been selling this product in advance. So today you're going to see massive volumes, people taking trades off who were speculating on the ETF, all of this stuff. So the new volumes come in, people taking stuff off. So there's lots of churn. And that then usually calms down. And then it's the process of, so if you think in the old IPO world, when Yahoo comes out or something as the new IPO or Google or whatever, what would happen is, so it launches, then the investment banks would have their analysts do the research, then they put their buy recommendation, then it starts really happening. And so you'd often get a hot day one because people couldn't get into the IPOs. It would then calm down, correct quite a lot. And then there's this period, because look, regular people don't care what's just happened. It matters to us. It matters to these ETF providers for the customers they've got. But the average Joe investor or average Jane, they don't really care yet. But it'll filter down as they'll see more reports on it. Their investment advisor will tell them about it. And then before you know it, it starts building momentum. They see the price rising and they all come in. So that's my general mental model here.